we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, May 4th versus the Columbus Fury at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is not Ticket Weeknights. It's Ticket Weekends. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Austin Orban. More importantly, I got to meet Rob Kulhlman today. Rob, welcome back in, man. How are you?
Oh, it's been great. Nice to see you. First time we've ever met, but we've had some good conversation last hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's marathon weekend.
Oh, boy.
You excited?
I'm excited for the people, but other people chose to take that upon themselves.
Yeah. I mean, Ash, I'm actually not sure how big it is, but I know it lasts forever. The road, just because I try to drive anywhere, right? And it's difficult to do. I have at Movement Academy, we actually, with the running company, host a marathon class. So yes. So it's a lot of fun. I wish I could. I'll have to try to get Ann from the running company in here sometime because she'd love to talk about running in Lincoln. And we got so many trails here, right? And just so many opportunities for running.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they got the best shoes. So
ain't that the truth? Yeah. We should probably let people know the sponsor of the show, Kulhlman Construction. We build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at KulhlmanConstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today.
Yeah. So anyways, the marathon training class. One of these days, if you ever have an opportunity to run a marathon, I recommend it.
I'm sure I have opportunity, but I am not one of those people who typically takes more opportunity to run.
Yeah, I mean, I think didn't you mention your wife likes to run?
She was a cross country runner in high school,
okay.
And then a couple years ago, her big thing, she always wanted to run at least a half marathon. So she did the Good Life Halvesy.
Oh, we do those too.
Nice.
Yeah, we do those classes. It's great. Yeah, they run the whole thing. I just happen to host it, right? So they're the actual experts on the marathon training. I like to exercise, but I'm more into the weights rather than the pavement, which is something I mentioned earlier. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the benefits of running. The class is pretty cool though, because it lasts for a few months and it really gets you, it builds you up. It starts you out small and then you just start running more and more over the course of, ramping up to the actual marathon. And the marathon is always really cool to see. And, everybody who wants to get out there and run it's more people than you really realize.
I got mad props for anyone who decides they're running 1 mile or 2.6 miles, let alone 26.2.
26 miles.
For me, a marathon was running from first base to home plate. back in the day.
Hey, that's a
what
long
I got.
distance.
Three trips up and back on a basketball court. That's plenty of
That's a different
sustained effort for me.
That's funny. That's actually a different energy system. We're going to talk about that today.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll let you know what you need to work on if you want to go back and play some baseball. Yeah. So no, it's just a lot of fun to see that. And I actually have a little bit of a marathon story that does not take place here in Lincoln, but as some of our listeners know, I did live in New York, in the city, for 4 years, and I was actually there. So they have the New York Marathon, of course, right? It's just massive. Everyone tries to go to that one. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people who like marathons, who want to hit all the cities. That's a big one. So I was actually, the first year it actually got canceled. Little sidebar, because I was actually there during Hurricane Sandy. Right?
Oh, sure.
So I don't know how this turned out, but I'll just tell you that real quick. So I lived on Wall Street, right?
Dang.
So
Nice.
I had roommates. I needed them, and
Right.
It was like a massive studio apartment, but we fit 3 people in there. Okay, so the stories are real. It's small, inexpensive, but you have to do what you got to do. And I was 22 at the time, so I didn't really care. I was like, I'd take roommates.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the water from that hurricane made it all the way up to my doorstep. We were a good 10 blocks at least from the actual ocean.
Gosh.
Yeah, it just destroyed so much stuff, and the water made it all the way up. All the power was gone all the way up to 59th Street, right? And it's that's like mid Manhattan for people who don't know. It's right up to the very bottom of Central Park. I guess the very southern part of Central Park. So yeah, it was canceled, right? And I actually had to move during that hurricane. Actually, I went through a move for the entire week that there was no actual power. Hailing a cab downtown to get uptown, because I was moving to the Upper East Side,
Okay.
which is relevant to that story, because on First Avenue where I was living, the marathon actually goes up First Avenue.
Okay.
Right. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it because it was right during the marathon. I wasn't able to watch it in the beginning, but then it was a lot of fun because you get to see, like, I was on a 4-story walk up, another studio apartment, and I was actually able to sit on my fire escape and just watch. It was the best. Like, it's a lot of fun to actually just see all the. It's amazing how many people fit on one street at a time.
They're big streets, but they shouldn't be that big.
I
That's a boatload of people,
Yeah.
like just packed. It's probably shoulder to shoulder
It was
for a while at least.
but it's not just the runners; it's the people watching.
Huh.
And I'm 4 stories up, so I can see everything. Right.
Right.
I'm on a fire escape, and it's one of those like fires. Like, is this gonna last? I'm just like,
A little rickety.
yeah, but that was basically my balcony, right? So I had to crawl out a window to get onto it. But it was a lot of fun. It's like so New York, right? Just like I'm gonna hang out on a fire escape.
Right.
Yeah, but no, that was a long time ago.
Never lived in New York, but had one of my cousins and his wife right before they had a kid. Maybe this was with their first kid. My family of 5 visited them and stayed with them in their 2-bedroom apartment in New York City.
Okay.
For a handful of days.
They had 2 bedrooms. That's nice.
They did because they had to. Or maybe it's just the one, and then the baby is. I forget the exact setup, but either way, it was 7 or 8 people in a New York City apartment for multiple days.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people just live like that. So they're like, they'll just be like, all right, suck it up. This is what we're doing this week for your vacation.
Right.
So yeah. That's the New York life. Then I guess you get to have it. So I was only able to do it for 4 years, though. I did move back to Lincoln. I am a Nebraskan, everybody. All right.
Good.
Homegrown, grew up in Seward, but 4 years in New York was a lot of fun. So that was a cool marathon story. But
You go to Stewart High?
I did.
Do you have Senor Orman?
I did.
It's my dad.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Man, if he remembers me, he probably remembers I didn't speak Spanish very well.
I'm sure you're not alone.
That is so funny. Yeah, Adelante Gran Rojo.
Indeed. There's your bonus point.
I got it. All right. I hope he's listening.
How
All
was
right.
the salsa?
The salsa? Oh gosh, I don't know. Are you talking about the actual salsa or me dancing?
Oh, he
Because-
made salsa. Just didn't know if it stood
okay.
out.
Gosh. Well, I actually forget. But yeah, I graduated in 2008. So wow, small world. See, that's what you get when you live in Nebraska.
Right.
So that's a lot of fun. All right. Well, hello, Senor Orman. Yeah. Well, back to it here. I was actually going to talk about making exercise a habit, because just because with marathon training, it's a good segue. I mean, you really need to make running a habit. Now that is exercise, right? But any form, whether it is running, whether it's resistance training, whatever you find easiest, It is. It's one of the first things I wanted to talk about today because I'm finding that a lot of people are having difficulties just fitting it into the day. So I don't know. Are you?
That's me.
That's
You're preaching to the choir. I'll tell you kind of my background here.
Okay, perfect.
Team sports guy.
Yeah.
Always built into the schedule for me. Had a schedule, had people to work out with, had teams. There's the competition aspect of it. I was lucky enough to still play 1 year of Legion baseball after my freshman year of college, so that was still built in. But since then, I've missed that teamwork, that camaraderie aspect of it. The usual, I'm busy with work excuses, and got a 7-month-old kid at home.
Oh yeah,
so
I've heard those.
Just over the last couple weeks, I've been, if he's playing, I'm trying to get back into stretching at the very least, do some crunches or push-ups while he's on the floor. But I just miss the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the teamwork aspects of team sports, and I've never gotten into like the running or anything like that because it's so individual. And I need a ball. I need something to do with my hands or my feet.
Right. I mean, do you have the time to make that an action? Right. Like that's another thing that people tend to have hard time getting into. But yeah, I mean, I understand that. So getting into like team workouts, right? That is an actual thing. I'm going to bring up a few team examples here later on. I don't want to give it away, but we're going to talk about something like that. But when it comes to making time for exercise, one of my favorite quotes. Now I want to claim it, but I understand that it's probably been said a million times before me. All right. But you have to make exercise part of your busy, right? Not I'm too busy to exercise. It is actually part of your busy. It's necessary to have that sort of mindset when it comes to creating time for exercise, because I don't need to really go into this too much because everybody knows the answer. It is you do have time. It is prioritizing your time, right? So if anybody has ever sat on a couch and watched TV, they have time to exercise, right? And who doesn't do that? I do that, but it's I also acknowledge I don't have children.
Well,
but I do work at a gym, so that is easy for me. But it's one of those things where make it part of your busy, and then it's just one of the things that you got to do. And I always like to say this for anybody who's a beginner, and I actually wrote this down so I don't mess it up. It is how to start working out for beginners. First thing you want to do is you want to start thinking of exercise as a privilege and not a punishment. You need to be grateful for the ability to move your body, as there are people out there who do anything to be able to be active, right? So what makes us not active? It could be injury, it could be time, it could be age. There's just so many things that make people no longer want to be active. But I will say that the best way to maintain your ability to be active is definitely going to be exercise, right? It's the most foolproof way of making sure that you bulletproof your joints, bulletproof your muscles, make those things less likely to be susceptible to injury. So I actually have a list that I'll go over here in a little bit too of like what joints that are injured a lot. Maybe like to work your ankles, for example. Like if you want to not have your ankles be injured, what do you do, right? Or your knees or your elbows. Those are all things that you can work on, but you just got to find like weaknesses and links in your body to be able to make sure that, like, let's say you want to protect your knees, hamstrings, work your hamstrings, right? Work your quads too, of course, but that is one of the more underutilized muscle groups that people tend to forget about, actually, is hamstrings. I'm noticing people love the quads because you can see them in the mirror, right?
right.
So, and then they see the glutes. It's like, all right, well, I got to work my glutes. What about your hamstrings?
They're important too.
We need them.
And they're touchy.
Yeah. So, no, that's just important. So, I mean, if exercise is something that you do see as a punishment, definitely just have that paradigm shift. It's a privilege.
Is part of that paradigm shift maybe shifting from calling it working out to exercise? So I think working out gives a certain connotation maybe to beginners where it's, oh, it's work. I already go to work. I'm already tired from my work. Or working out's for bodybuilders. And I don't look like them. They have huge muscles. Exercise might just seem more approachable to a guy who's looking to get back in it, maybe.
I like that you said that, because I've not heard that one before, but the fact that you said it means you're not the only one thinking it, right? So I do think that it's there's some value to that. Maybe I'll just start saying exercise from now on. But yeah, I think that's valuable. Definitely just think of it as whatever the shift needs to be, however you need to talk to yourself to make sure it's a thing. But, thinking of it as a privilege, a thing that you get to do, not you have to do, is definitely a big part of that.
Mm.
I just think that, some people are addicted, right? And it is a drug. It is something that, like, it just, once you are somebody who is in that habit, you know how it feels, right? And it is a feeling that people strive for. It's a thing that they just want to continue to do at all times, and it's you can that can lead to overtraining actually. um, but which is another thing I wanted to bring up today, just because all these things are so interlinked, and the post optimal workout recovery time, right? So a lot of people who are just getting into exercise, that's a big question. How long do I recover? Whether it's in the middle of workout, how many days between workouts? It's huge, right? Because sometimes if you're trying to create that shift and you think that you have to work out 6 days a week, well, you do not need to work out 6 days a week, especially when you're just getting into it,
Mm.
right? That could lead, unless you're splitting up your muscles properly, you could definitely run into some issues with overtraining. So one of my favorite things to tell people is read your body, right? So I had a client, gosh, this is just last week actually, brand new client, because I'm of course personal training over there at Movement Academy, and we have somebody coming in, and in the middle of, I think we're in our second, no, we were definitely in our second set, just getting through with it and starting our third, and she's talking about, like, right, I can feel this in my quads, I can feel this in my glutes, and they were shaking, right?
Mm.
First session. And as a part of overtraining, I just told her, all right, listen, read your body. If I'm telling you to do something and your body is telling you something else, listen to your body. Don't listen to me. Right. Now, over time, because this is a brand new client, right? So
Mhm.
over time, let's say in a month or two of training with this person, I will certainly know limitations. I will get a really good example of just through consistent exercise to this person, like how, or anybody I train, right? That's just how it works, where you learn their bodies and you understand when they shouldn't be pushing themselves further.
Mhm.
But initially, I don't have that point of reference.
Mhm.
So listen to your body.
And there's a very fine line there
Mhm.
too between probably pushing yourself to do more than you've done before and take that next step versus doing too much, going too hard, too fast,
Oh
right?
yes, 100%. Yes, going too hard, too fast, that actually scares a lot of people away,
Mm.
right? Because they see exercise, and like when you finally get into it, and you start really hard, that it's like they see this giant mountain that they have to climb versus just, think brick by brick, right? It's
Mhm.
just you gotta take it slow initially, because it's a lot easier to overtrain right in the beginning than it is if you've been doing it consistently. So it's, I mean, consistently for months, for years. Some people do it for so long. I still get sore,
Mm.
right? I'm 34, so I get sore a little bit longer now, right, than I did when I was 22. But I'm definitely going through the phases of muscle soreness for sometimes a little bit longer. So I got to make sure I'm getting enough protein, getting enough
Mm.
sleep, right? I mean, there's just a lot of things that come with aging, but it's certainly a thing that you can exercise program around. If you want to work out 6 days a week, then I recommend working at least every single muscle group twice a week,
Mm.
right? So you're going to hit your quads maybe on Tuesday and on Friday, for example,
Mm.
right? No, not just your quads. You got a lot of muscle groups that you got to hit, but just for an example. And I would say that um, I don't like people working a sore muscle if it's overly sore. So going back to the whole statement on read your body, I
Mhm.
would I would much prefer that if you're going in, it's chest day, right? Everyone loves chest day, especially if you're a guy. Girls, your chest day is probably booty day, right? But let's say your chest is still really sore, and if you continue to work that muscle and you don't give its proper opportunity to recover, I mean, you can think of it as you have your even point. If you think of like a line, like let's just say like water, right?
Mhm.
You work out, you're below water because you break down your muscle fibers. But as they build back up, they're above water,
Mm.
right? And unless you let them build back up to get above that starting point that you were at, that water line, then you're just going to continue to go further down. And that's overtraining that leads to injury,
Mm.
right? So, but there is some stiffness involved that people mistake for soreness. Have you ever had that?
I'm sure I have. I can't
Right.
point to a specific time.
Well, I mean, it's all right, I went through it just this week, right? So this week my chest is a little bit sore and I felt it, but like I started moving, right? And I just started like just moving my muscles around, try to shake the arms out. I did some push-ups, for example, something extremely light that's not going to cause overtraining. And like the soreness almost goes away,
Hmm.
right? So like if it's been 2 or 3 days and you're still sore, sometimes you just got to move, right? And it does go away. So that's another instance of reading your body.
And
right?
there's a difference between being sore and being in pain.
Yes.
Is that acuity? Is that duration? How do you tell the difference between, oh, I'm just sore from working out, or hey, I might have actually tweaked something?
Well, one thing is how pinpointed is the pain, right? Is it the whole muscle or is it just one specific spot? Right. So when I'm sore or when like I can feel it in my quads, I can feel it in my glutes, I feel the whole entire chest. Right. So that's a good indicator that it's actual muscle soreness. And if it's in your muscle versus in your joint, right? There's another thing that you can look at. Now, I of course, as a trainer, can't diagnose anything, but I will tell people if I think that they need to talk to someone, an actual doctor, then they'll have to go and do that. But really, pain versus soreness, yeah, just kind of depends on where the soreness is and how broad it is, I guess.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it can take practice, but you know, if you need a personal trainer to walk you through it, I know a place.
Do you? Is
So-
it maybe like right down the block from us here?
Yes, it is. And I walked to and from this place twice already today. So if you're downtown or in the Haymarket, stop on over, Movement Academy. So yeah, no, it's a good time. And I do want to go over here about. I would like to talk about resistance training and recovery processes in resistance training too, right? So depending on how much time you got with me here, but power, strength, hypertrophy, which is just muscle growth, right? Endurance and conditioning training, they're all different. So marathon runners today, you know, they're talking endurance conditioning, right? But like you had mentioned bodybuilding, they're going to be looking for hypertrophy, right? Just muscle growth. So some forms of exercise doesn't really care functionality, but just looks, which is fine, right? That's to each their own. But the recovery and resistance training. So I will dive deeper into this in just a few minutes. But power, just for a quick reference point for people, if you're training for power, now power and strength are different. Okay.
Please explain.
All right. So power, think quick burst plyometric, right? So
like explosion almost?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely explosion. And then strength. So I guess the best way to do this, if I have people like put their, I explain this best with I can just word this out, right? So like put your hand down on a flat surface. And if you take your middle finger and you poke it as hard as you can, just tap it as hard as you can into the surface, I would call that strength. But if you take your other hand and you lift it up and you whip it onto the floor, right? That's power.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And both are vital. Both are very important, right? You should be working on everything, but power and strength, there's a slight difference there. So power 2 to 3 minutes, just because there are rest times that your body is going to react to the energy systems that you're actually using, right? So creatine phosphate is power. If you look at, and then you have the glycolytic system, you have the oxidative system, right? So if you're looking at power, and best person to think of here would probably be Usain Bolt, right? So he's jacked. Dude's massive, right? He's got big muscles.
Yeah.
He lives, and he's the fastest man in the world. Probably still.
Right.
I don't know if he's in the Paris Olympics or not, but is he? I don't know.
Let me look that up before I speak out of turn.
Yeah, look that up. I got to know, because if he's still, like, I thought last time was like the last time, because like, how is he still running last time?
He retired in 2017.
Okay, so
he missed Tokyo.
He missed Tokyo? All right. Well, gosh, last time he ran was, I don't know.
He retired after the 2017 World Championships, where he finished third in his last solo 100. He opted out of the 200 and pulled up injured in the 4x1.
Okay.
So that was it for
All right. Well,
Mr. Bolt.
Mr. Bolt. I mean, still, it's probably at least the second most fastest man in the world right now, maybe, right?
Right.
But yeah, he's power, right? So that guy, his muscles are actually the reason they're big. And if you look at somebody who runs 30 miles a day, they're extremely skinny, right? So that's because they're using different energy systems. So he's using that power energy system, which requires big muscles. Your muscle fibers, in order to hold, I guess, this energy system, need to be bigger, right? And then you have so if you want to look like that, work on power, work on sprinting. Those things are great, but your recovery time has to be at least 2 to 3 minutes if you're working on power, because you need those energy systems that you're working to replenish within your workout. So it's actually one thing that's extremely humbling is using a timer to accurately track rests between sets.
Not just winging it.
Not just winging it.
Not just saying, "Oh, I'm ready. I'm gonna go again."
Yes, because maybe you're still going to see progress, but if you want optimal results, check your rest times, because your muscles will react to the energy systems you put them into, right? So strength, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Hypertrophy, 45 to 90 seconds. Again, hypertrophy is muscle growth. Just trying to get bigger, right? And then endurance and conditioning, anywhere between 15 and 60 seconds is going to be your rest times in between sets. So
I'm going to try to get us in here. I know someone's logged in as well. I need to see if I can throw us to break here real quick.
Yeah.
When we get back, let's go over those energy systems.
Yeah.
You're using a lot of big sciencey words that I want to know more about.
Let's talk about them.
This is the Movement Hour on 93.7 Ticket, theticketfm.com. Back with more from Rob Kulhlman right after this. Kulhlman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Kulhlman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Kulhlman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, May 4th, versus the Columbus Fury at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Far too many kids in our community face extreme challenges due to homelessness, abuse, and neglect. Despite the troubles these kids face, we believe in them. Believe in giving them the safety and stability they deserve. Your gift on Give to Lincoln Day will help us provide services to meet kids where they're at, while also showing them how far they can go. Please make your gift to Cedars on Give to Lincoln Day.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
RC's Boxing Production is proud to present the new prospects at the Complex. Come enjoy a show of Lincoln's best professional and amateur boxers on Saturday, May 25th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. You won't want to miss this event. It's the new prospects at the Complex on Saturday, May 25th at 1555 Yolanda Avenue, right off of Cornhusker Highway.
Are you ready to take your seeding season to the next level? Now's your chance with Landmark Implement's early order program. Don't miss out on the best deals of the season on new John Deere air seeders and drills, including the N500C Central Commodity System. Experience the ease of operation with the new N500C's intuitive design, simplifying your seeding process and saving you valuable time in the field. Lock in the largest cash discount, snag the best financing rate, and ensure availability on a new drill. Contact your local Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Movement Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com, brought to you by Kulhlman Construction. We build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at KuhlmanConstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today. Austin Norman, Rob Kulhlman, owner of the Movement Academy, here with us here on 93.7 The Ticket for the next half an hour or so. All right, I'm putting my science hat on. I'm in class. I got my notes up. All these energy systems. You threw out 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain.
Yes. So I like the wording you went with before break. You're saying sciencey things. I'm not that sciencey unless this is the topic, right? So it's just funny to hear it said that way. Well, yeah, we were talking about power, strength, and hypertrophy, and then also endurance and conditioning, right? So have you ever gone to the gym and seen people work out for, say, 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which by the way, I'm ever going to disparage that. Okay. That is amazing. If you have the time to do that and you enjoy doing that, keep doing that. Right. If you are working endurance and conditioning, I could see that maybe being a possibility, right? Because running sometimes takes that long.
Right.
If you're working for strength and hypertrophy, you're probably not being as efficient as you should be. And
too much rest.
Way too much rest. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, really the reason I say your muscles they're going to grow depending on the energy systems you put them in most of the time. Okay. So when I was talking about runners and people who, they're generally pretty skinny, right? And that's by design. Your body is going to be efficient in that thing. So the mitochondria, little organelles,
powerhouse of the cell.
There you go. Right. Those things, they're going to take oxygen. That's what they turn that into ATP, your energy, right? So that right there is why your muscles are going to be a little bit smaller, because what helps the efficiency of just providing your muscles with all that oxygen, if they're smaller, they're less, I guess your mitochondria become more dense. So they have, like, on a per mitochondria basis, right? You don't have as much muscle to supply oxygen to, so it makes you more efficient, right? So you'll be skinnier. If that's what you're going for, then certainly that's one way to do it, right? Just always do those endurance training, and the running is certainly a good thing for that. Now, one thing I do want to mention, since we were talking about recovery and we were talking about resisting injury, is if you are a runner, I would much rather see you add a day or two of resistance training in your programming besides just running. People don't realize running is a contact sport. Okay.
Right.
I'm not joking. 2 to 5 times your body weight is hitting the pavement and shocking up your body every single time you take a step. How many steps do you think you're taking?
Right? Thousands, right?
Right. So that's a lot of strain on your joints. So how do you bulletproof your joints? Resistance training. So certainly do that if you want. I mean, if you're a runner and you're getting injured often, start resistance training. It's not going to hurt your ability to run. It's going to enhance your ability to run, especially if you're doing it properly.
What are those joints you see injured the most from runners?
I mean, anything in the legs, really. But, and I'll see, people like to complain about shin splints all the time too, right? So I mean, just working those muscles around those shins, that's going to be huge, right? But I mean, I see back injuries all the time. People complain about their lower back because they've been running, and it'll be endurance, of course, that helps train those muscles. But I see name an injury, if it's a runner, like I've seen it, right? I've been training, and I've actually been training a lot of runners for about 14 years now. So it is a thing that I've seen a lot of, but most of the time, yeah, it's going to be hips, joints anywhere below the hips probably is what I'm going to see a lot of. But of course, don't forget about that back. And so yeah, those are things that I would definitely want to work on with people. And when it comes to I mentioned Usain Bolt, right? So the reason I say he lives in that power, right? That creatine phosphate energy system that only lasts about 10 seconds. How long does it take him to run the 100 meters?
Not even 10 seconds,
right?
Like 9.6.
Right. So right in there, that's where he's living, right? He wants to train that energy system, and that requires a bigger muscle, right?
Okay.
So the energy system he trains has a direct reaction to the muscle size that he has, right? So that's really, if you really want to look at like which one do I train in? If you're purely training for aesthetics, then you want to pick an energy system, work it, right? So it's not a way that people usually think about exercise. Is like, which energy system am I going to work today, right?
It's which muscle do I want to look best at the beach,
right? So that's one thing that people should really start to focus on, and knowing how to work each energy system. That takes a little bit of research, right? And it takes a little bit of discipline when you're in the gym to actually hold yourself accountable to the timer. I struggle with that sometimes, right? It's not a thing I enjoy, but because
does the personal trainer need a personal trainer for that?
Oh my gosh, if I could have a personal trainer, I would take one in a heartbeat. Seriously. I mean, personal training is cool because I don't have to think, right? So, I mean, I currently program my own workouts. If I didn't have to do that, that'd be great. Right. So, I mean, some people think it's a chore to program and to work out. I mean, when I bring up all these different things to think about when you're exercising, that could be a thing that holds people back. Well, exercise.
I would tell you that's probably me at home too. I mean, I have little dumbbells at home, have resistance bands, but it just feels so random, so arbitrary. I don't know where to start with making a plan. So, I guess I'll do some curls and I'll do a couple presses here and there, and move my left leg 10 times, move my right leg 10 times. And that's kind of a plan, direction. I guess. Yeah. But is that really a plan? Not really.
Something is better than nothing. Right. So just because like every example I just gave you is going to be the most efficient way to hit a specific goal. But let's say your goal is health, movement, and you just want to longevity. That's a big one. And I get a lot of people who just care about longevity. I get a lot of people who just want to lose weight. Right. And that's another thing that leads to injury, right? Because your joints are still, they're being affected by weight. Right. So it's one of those things where if that's what you're doing, keep doing it. Don't stop just because you don't know how energy systems work. Right. It's very important to do that. Now, if you do decide to get into energy systems and actually like really think about like what, as you get more advanced, that's when I would recommend start looking at that kind of stuff. But it'll be more entertaining to you at that point in time. If you've been working out for a certain amount of time, then it just becomes more intriguing. Like, all right, what's the next step? Right. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun when you think about it. Like if you really want to start, you get the habit down now. I've had somebody, have you ever read the book Atomic Habits?
I have not.
Okay. So
should I put it on my Amazon list?
Yeah. James Clear. It's one of the most, applicable to everyday life books that I've read. Right. So like you can really use those strategies in everyday life. And sometimes you can read a book, then it's just difficult to actually apply it. This one's very easy to apply. So, but one of the strategies I've seen, and it was, gosh, it would have been from that book. I'm going to call it anyways. It's a great book. It's get on a treadmill for 5 minutes, no more. That's it. 5 minutes. You're not going to talk yourself out of 5 minutes on a treadmill. Okay. If you leave yourself the option of being on that treadmill longer, then you might, right? But if it's just 5 minutes and you got to leave, then boom, like you just do it, right? Do that for a certain amount of time, get into a habit of getting to the gym or getting on the treadmill, right?
For 5 minutes, no more.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with it. If that helps you, I mean, why start off at the end, right? So you want to start at the starting point.
But I think that's part of the problem too, is the comparison, right? I think the people that are at the end or that have been on the journey a long time are the frequent comparison point, not people at the beginning.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, but the comparison that's tough, right? I mean, that's another thing. People think that you're getting looked at in the gym. You're not. Okay, everyone's focused on themselves. I promise you, they care way more about themselves than they care about what you're doing. I mean, you see those people looking in the mirror at themselves. They're not looking in the mirror at you, right? So it's really not a thing that happens in the gym as often as people think it does, right? So that's an important thing to remember, is that you're not being watched. Personal trainers get watched all the time. That's a thing, because one, like, what are they doing? Can I take that movement? Please copy me, by the way. If I'm doing things and you think it's cool, take it. I didn't make it up, right? I mean, I might have been creative here and there with movements. And if I see people doing a movement that I started in the gym, like, yes, keep going. That's
Imitation
amazing.
being the sincerest form of flattery.
There you
and all
go.
that.
I'll take it, right? Yeah. Just make sure you tell everyone where you got. I'm just kidding.
Right.
But no, it's
this lunge brought to you by the Movement Academy.
Hey, yeah, this lunge brought to you by Rob. Yeah, it's I mean, it's actually true when I'm training. So no, but yeah, I think it's a thing that people happen to. It's a big bugaboo at the gym, right? Who's going to be watching? Am I doing this correctly? Anytime I see somebody who looks a little dazed or they're not really sure what to do, kind of walking around, I always make a big point to walk up to that person and say, hey, how can I help you? Right? Because that's why I got into it in the first place. How can I help the people who are here? They just want to learn.
Mhm.
It actually kind of breaks my heart a little bit when I see somebody walking around the gym. They don't know what to do. They feel embarrassed to be there. Like I want to help them so bad.
Mhm.
It's not something that I'm always given the opportunity to do. But
And on that point, sell Movement Academy. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to prep for the show, reading over your bios. I mean, it sounds like that part. I don't know if inclusivity is the right word. Welcoming might be a better word.
Yeah.
Like talk up your staff and how that is part of your focus.
well, yeah, we're extremely welcoming. I mean, the personalities in Movement Academy are all extremely, extremely easy, right? You can just talk to any. We're very approachable, and we try to be. And if we don't seem that way, my goodness, let us know. Right. But the staff there is very knowledgeable, very approachable. They are eager to help people. Like I guess the vibe I just gave you now, where I desperately want to help the person who doesn't know what they're doing or who feels embarrassed. Maybe they know a little bit more than they actually let on, but they're still embarrassed. Like those are the types of people. I just want you to feel comfortable at Movement Academy.
Mhm.
Now it's not like your typical big box gym where you're just going to have a ton of people in there. We do focus on personal training. We have a general membership, right? But and more than half of our members are just only doing membership, coming in by themselves
Mhm.
and working out, right? But personal training on a per capita basis is definitely higher at Movement Academy than most places,
Mhm.
because that's just what we try to focus on. That's our personality, right?
Mhm.
And personal trainers, if you aren't welcoming and open and really looking to help people, then you're probably not in the right profession.
Right.
So yeah, it's a thing that we definitely try to strive to be welcoming and knowledgeable and just there to be a resource for you. I have all the time. I mean, people try to worry about my time, which I appreciate, right? But if you have a question and I'm not willing to answer it, then that's on me. That's a me thing. Like it is. I definitely want to help you, even
Mhm.
if you think you're using my expertise and not paying for it, right? Like just you don't need to do that to just ask me a question. Let me help you. I spent 30 minutes with people in the gym because outside of session and just like work out with them,
Mhm.
and I'll just show them as much as I possibly can. And creating those relationships are extremely valuable to me, right? I try to know
Mhm.
every single person at the gym. I try to be on a first name basis with every single one of my members. And I got like 200 names in my head right now. So it's some people are working out when I'm not there, right? So
Right.
I apologize to you members. Thank you for being there when I'm not there.
I mean, you can't be at the gym 24/7, Rob. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know it's weird. But the ones who are there in between 8 o'clock and 6 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., if you're in there, and that I know your name.
Right. I think that's a perfect spot to go to our last break of the show. If people are interested, I know we have another segment to go.
Yeah.
What's the best way to get started with you? Is there a website people should go to kind of check it out
Yeah.
and get started?
Well, MoveAcad, MoveAcad. It's just the first 4 letters. It's moveacad.com. And if you pop on that website, it is extremely navigatable to set up a free intro.
Hmm.
Right. And we actually call them NSIs, no sweat intros. So the very first session you meet with a trainer, we're not going to make you sweat. It is going to be information gathering. It is going to be, I might do some movement checks with you. Right. But it's a really easy and complimentary way.
Hmm.
It's free. Get in there and just try it. If you only show up for an NSI, I'll even give you an in-body scan, right? And those things typically I charge for because in-bodies are not cheap. But
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, just stop in and just get information. If that's all you're looking for, great. I'll give you all the information you asked for in an NSI. If you want to go further, I would love to talk to you about that, but that is something we'll definitely do.
Perfect. MoveAcad.com. Check it out here during this break. We'll be back with one final segment here on the Movement Hour next. Kulhlman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Kulhlman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Kulhlman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life. 2024 wheat harvest is upon us, agriculture at its finest. Schemper Harvesting is a custom harvesting operation out of Holdridge that is starting to build a crew for the 2024 season that harvests crops from Texas to Montana starting May 15. Drive trucks from field to market and operate combines and tractors pulling grain carts. Room and board is provided with a competitive wage. Take an adventure and join them for the upcoming harvest and do something others wish they would have done. Call JC at 308-999-2973 or apply online at schemperharvesting.com.
Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You guys talk about songs that you love. Is there a song that you absolutely loathe in this world?
Oh, there is, and I can't think of them right now.
I'm just picking Ozzy Osbourne song.
I despise with all my being Benny and the Jets by Elton John. I hate that song. Jersey Mike's or Chick-fil-A.
Chick is good. Jersey Mike's, I'm going to say it'd be 90.
Come on,
90.
Bill.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Kingdom Sports Minute with Ron Brown, the radio voice of Kingdom Sports.
Clayton Castor resigned as a Michigan high school basketball coach in 2017 after he was named the best coach in his class. Castor's reason for leaving was mainly the parents. Castor said, "At the end of the day, the reason I'm resigning is because of parents. I don't want to deal with them. I really enjoy this, but parents have taken the fun and enjoyment right out of it. I don't have thick enough skin or the will to put up with it. For that amount of time, it's just not worth it." Combative parents who undermine and betray coaches are far too common in sports. So this often leads to coaches throwing in the towel. The plot to arrest Jesus by evil men during the Passion Week was the ultimate betrayal. He knew it would be his last night, but he didn't focus on his own need for comfort. Rather, he prepared his men for the next 24 hours. Jesus was an example of a strong-hearted leader who withstood the pressures around him, and that should lead us to do the same.
Visit kingdomsports.online.
Old School with DP and J.
Very small percentage of players, coaches, administrators thinking like, I'm planting my flag here. Nick Saban's run probably won't happen. It takes a very unique person and personality to be comfortable where you are, be strong enough to push to get what you need, and then also be very strong enough in a player's standpoint to advocate for yourself at the right time.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bree Fansteel, local race car driver. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday at 7 p.m. for The Finish Line, where we discuss off-road, on-road, and sometimes next-to-the-road racing on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here on the Movement Hour, brought to you by Movement Academy. Rob Kulhlman, the host. Shorter segment, Rob, 7 or 8 minutes. What's on tap for us?
Yeah, well, I want to talk about fitness trends. A few things are trendy right now. Online, CrossFit, all that, right? So I don't know if you ever pull up the Instagrams and see fitness influencers all over the place, right?
Mostly it's the fitness piece of pizza into my mouth influencers.
Fitness
right now.
piece of pizza. Oh my gosh. Whatever that influencer is, you should send me that one because everyone likes a good pizza, even people in fitness. So I'm ashamed to say this, but I can eat a full DiGiorno's pizza.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, I've done it. Booty building exercises. That's super common, I guess it's a big topic. Everybody wants to know how to build a big booty. So I want to say be careful of certain online influencers, right? Just really do your research on these people. Most of them are going to show you pictures of them in their nice workout pants, and they're just gonna here's the booty. You want this? Do this program, right? And what they fail to tell you is 80% of that's probably genetics. Right. So, I mean, you can certainly build a butt, right? If that's what you're looking for, you can do it. It's just probably not on their specific program. It is a thing that genetics plays a huge role. So if you see, it doesn't have to be booty, right? You can talk about a guy who has these massive biceps or massive shoulders or whatever they look like. And I just want to look like that. People want to look like a triangle, and I've heard, you look like a Dorito. right. So yeah, those people. So I always call that shopping for parts, right? You can't have that dude's calves. You can't have that guy's back. You have to, you got what you got and you can enhance what you have. Right. So that is not I'm not saying don't utilize influencers. They can do some great work. I know great influencers on Instagram. And I actually follow a few, right? But just be careful is what I'm trying to say with the certain ones that you're going to be finding, because online, especially after COVID, it's massive, and they make a lot of money. Somebody says on Instagram they even tried to fool the influencers, right? They were like, "Hey, I made $80,000 this month," by claiming that they made $80,000 that month without actually any proof. How did you do it? Well, buy this program, and I'll show you how. So they're going to make something. Because you bought that program, it's not gonna be 80 grand.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme, honestly.
A little bit, right? So I mean, you just be careful. There are a lot of people that you can tell love fitness and just want to help people. Those are the good ones, right? But some of them, it's a thing that I've seen. And
I think that's another plug for you guys.
Yeah.
The movement. I mean, you're local. You're right down the block from us. Haymarket's busy and popping. Yeah. And again, I think this goes back to that NSI. You're just teasing,
no sweat
right?
intro.
Right. You are trying to learn about people to get them the specific plan for them instead of this catch-all chasing an ideal they might never reach.
Oh, 100%. Yes. I want to meet you where you're at. That's what the NSI is for. And then we train you from there. Right. So it's definitely a thing that we strive to do at Movement Academy. And yeah, we're always there for anybody who wants to pop in and work on that. We also want to go, I wanted to talk a little bit about CrossFit because it's been trendy for a long time, right? And it's actually, some people are surprised when I say I actually really like CrossFit. Okay. I have no problems with it. Maybe initially I did, just because it was kind of cultish and everyone's against that kind of thing.
CrossFit and bikers, those are the two that have the bad rap online.
Yes, they have a bad rap now, and I actually understand a part of it. Right. So if a CrossFitter says I did 90 pull-ups in a row, I mean, can you just call it a kipping pull-up? It's not a pull-up. Right. So I get that. Okay. 90 pull-ups in a row would be impressive, but just call it what it is. Now, it is not a actual problem that I have with CrossFit. The kipping pull-up is a valuable exercise. So it's not the exercise itself. It's just how you label it. And it almost makes it sound like it's just way cooler than it is.
What's the difference? I don't even know what a kipping pull-up is.
Right. Well, I mean, think about hanging from a strict position, like you're just hanging with no momentum. You just pull yourself up, right? That's a pull-up.
Yeah.
Right. And try to get to your chin. Okay.
Right.
A kipping pull up, you're basically swinging your body up to get momentum, and you can do many in a row. If you get the form down, which by the way is a skill, it's an athletic skill to be able to, I call it a fish flop, right? But it's a, it's a kip, right? So doing kipping pull ups, that's a hard skill, and you can really build your lats doing those things, right? It's a good exercise. So, but it's not a pull up exactly, right? There's somebody who says I did 30 muscle ups in a row. It's like you actually did 30 kipping muscle ups in a row. So that is, and I was a gymnast growing up, right? So like I've done actual muscle ups, so it, like I have a little bit of a thing there. So it's just it's a complaint on terminology, not the actual exercise itself, right? So I've been doing CrossFit in my own gym, and it's a lot of fun. It is so motivating. And we talked about, I mean, you had mentioned you want a ball, you want teams when you're exercising, right? There's so many fun CrossFit examples that you can use to be with people and actually do it in a partner or a 3-person or a 5-person, even you can use your friends and work out. So we actually offer that at Movement Academy, right? It's called Level Method. So it is a CrossFit style program, and it's created by, I'm going to call them programming nerds, right? They just program, but it's all CrossFit. And then the other thing that I would worry about is just, I'm not a person who really believes in incorrect movement as much as I believe in incorrect preparation. So when it comes to CrossFit, the other issue that I was having, or that I had and still do to a point, is everyone should do this versus everyone should prepare to do this, right? I want you to prepare properly. Now, CrossFit is definitely done a lot better job of that, and my own knowledge of just being with CrossFitters. I have trainers who are CrossFitters. I have a lot of friends who own CrossFit gyms, right? It's actually, they're even in Level Method, they start you off on a very specific spot, and it's really important to just prepare properly, and then you can do anything you want.
What does proper prep look like typically?
Well, I mean, if you're like, okay, so dips, for example, right? Dips is an exercise that if you're not properly prepared to do that movement, you can really bust up your shoulder. But you can prepare for a dip. You can do half dips, and then you can do a little bit further. You can, I mean, people try to add weight to do their dips, right? Especially because it's your anterior deltoid that's really gonna focus on that thing a lot, because that's basically holding up your body weight. That's a small shoulder muscle relative to the rest, relative to your medial delts. So it's something that can be affected in a dip. So I don't ever program a dip for people right off the bat. I have them work on things to be able to do a dip, right? So I prepare you for a movement, and then you can do that movement. And one of the issues that I noticed, at least earlier on, and it was just, let's just go, let's just do this, and not prepare properly. And the injuries that were happening because of CrossFit injuries, that's a thing that people were just getting, not because CrossFit's a bad form of exercise, it's just because they were not prepping properly to do CrossFit. Right. So prep, have a trainer that knows, trust your CrossFit coach if you're interested in that style of workout.
Makes sense.
So yeah, and I just think that those are things that people really need to be cognizant of, is just go in there and don't expect to go all out right away. So yeah, I mean, so go CrossFit. I'm a fan, as long as you prepare properly.
There you go. Rob, great to meet you, my man. Thanks for letting me sit in with you for the hour. MoveAcad.com.
MoveAcad, yes.
NSI, no sweat intro?
No sweat intro. It's called free intro on there. It's a big blue button, but it'll pull you up.
In the address for people.
Yeah, Movement Academy is down there, 115 Canopy Street, and it is right under the Olsen building near Huddle.
Perfect.
Bobcat. So
perfect. Check him out. Rob Kulhlman, Austin Norman. Don't go anywhere. More Ticket Weekends right after this. Kulhlman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond.
Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Kulhlman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Kulhlman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time